Eagles offense, Bucs defense, which is something we feel like it's like clockwork. We talk about once a year. We're going to talk about this matchup. I think there's an elephant in the room with it. But Charles, when you're watching this side of the ball in this game, what are you focusing on?
I mean, this matchup is interesting because, one, this defense has messed with Jalen Hurts a lot in the regular season and the playoffs. Two, this defense is not the same quality as the previous ones that Jalen Hurts has faced.
That's important.
Three, he will still be without A.J. Brown and likely Devonta Smith in this game, which might make things tough on him because he hasn't really been all that good this year, even though you go back, you look at the Saints game and you see like 29 for 38 for 300-something yards. I'm like, dude, that it doesn't even compute with what I feel like I just watched. But
crossing route late did a lot.
Right. You get the 3rd and 16 dump off to Goddard and he runs like 40 yards down the field. I'm like, dude, what is this? But dude, at some point, like you're making $250 million. Like you're at the top of the market with the other guys. You're going to have to rise above this and show that you can be the guy to kind of lead the charge and go out and score points at will against this Tampa Bay defense that's a little bit diminished. This would be a good opportunity for him to get that, that monkey off his back. But it just feels like, especially since, I would say before that, but really since like the losing started last year, he just hasn't really looked like a quarterback that's consistently capable of overcoming what defenses are putting in front of him. Like sometimes the athleticism will get him out of sticky spots and he can make, like second effort plays, longer extended plays. But, it's really tough to live in that style of football without your top 2 best receivers. So I would imagine that Bowles is still going to be Bowles, even though it's not quite working. Levante David's not moving as fast as he used to. But still, this is a hurdle he's going to have to get over.
Yeah, first off, I want to say they should be, again, I'm just going to emphasize that they should run Saquon 40 times in this game. And this should be a Saquon 200-yard game. Spread them out, get them in light personnel and run it. I think that's what you need to do. You mentioned Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown. He also might be out with Lane Johnson. And Next Gen Stats had a without stats with Lane Johnson, which I think matches the eye test completely. With Lane Johnson, in their career, or in Jalen Hurts' career, the Eagles average 7.8 yards per pass attempt, which is second highest. They allow a 33.5% pressure rate, which is 13th lowest. Without Lane Johnson, strap in for this. They get 6.7 yards per pass attempt, which is 24th. They allow a 42.3% pressure rate, which is the highest in the NFL. Lane Johnson better play. And I think Cam Jurgens, the new center, has done an admirable job. I actually think he's been pretty dang good. And also all this talk this offseason about how much Jalen Hurts is going to handle the protections. He hasn't done any of it. It's still Cam Jurgens. It's still Jeff Stoutland sorting it out, which is fine. That's how they want to do it. It's all about how you want to do it. Every system is different. So I just think that's just funny that like all these talking points just went.
Well, it's what a quarterback's supposed to do,
I'm a big believer. This is just my football dogma. My belief system is just that if you get paid, you're on this second contract, you better at least have some handle protections. Like it just that's what kind of frustrates me when I see some of these guys. I should say frustrates, but it's just I don't agree with it completely.
No, you have the style you like to watch.
I do, and I think more of the best offenses are doing it, which is great. Hello, Bills. But I also just, Todd Bowles is going to shy away from what he does. Like he's going to challenge this offensive line, simulated creepers, blitzes. I think that's a better option when they're out without their top 2 options at receiver. And you might keep the running back in protection, even if you only bring 4. And I think they're going to run a lot of those simulated creepers when they only bring 4. They're kind of do with against the Lions in week 2. But again, I just think that they got to pound it. Like that's the best way for them to combat this, especially if they're without Lane Johnson, because I just think if they pass the ball, they're going to have moments just like Jalen Hurts always does. But you don't have A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. That just makes that a little dicier proposition for me. I do also want to mention the other side of the ball just briefly. Jalen Carter versus Cody Mock might be a snuff film. The right guard for the Bucs. Yeah, that might be ugly.
Jalen has been on a warpath to start.
Your defensive player of the year pick, right?
He was my defensive player of the year.
That's better than everyone throws the ball too quick on Parsons. He's not going to rack up the stats.
Yeah.
So,
but like, that's kind of what's been so surprising to me about Bryce Huff's start. We're like, bro, you still got the same thing. You got the detonator at 3 technique next to you. Why aren't you getting more pressures? It's the same thing you had last year.
I know their defense says they're grasping at straws already. I'm excited to watch this one. It's a great proving ground game for a lot of people and a lot of units, I think, involved with it.